Okay, hobby update 3.0. Let's got it kind of on the reverse side here. We're going to move over a little bit. Perfect. Okay, so here's the hobby update for me. Today it's December the 10th, and this is what we've been working on over the last week. 2 Def Killer War Trites. So I have the base coat metaling done over the whole thing. I blocked in the first layer of skin tone for the orc, rider, and the grot while I was waiting for some paint to dry, basically, on another model. And then I got the weathering done for the engine. It's the first time I've tried that type of weathering. As you can see, it kind of looks like it was hit with a lot of high heat, carbon buildup or whatever. At least that's the idea. I guess you'd see this mostly on melta guns, but in this case, we're seeing it on the back of this engine, which I think is a good place. So this is my first test. You let me know what you think of the weathering. I think it looks pretty good. Other people have told me it looks pretty good. It's not 100%, but also working on my scrap jets. Starting to do the metal bits on them and block that in and knock that out. The other one here, I got the metal blocked in, but I'm not happy with the flame, so I think I'm going to hit that with the red and go over it, and then do some smaller flames like the bottom. Let's see, there, bottom there, and maybe do that all around, or ignore that completely and maybe paint red in throughout the whole thing, do like a white rim, and then do like a yellow stripe down the center, or maybe even a blue stripe or something. I don't know. But anyways, got the metal mostly blocked in. I got to go back and do 1 or 2 things I see that I missed now. Blackstone Fortress. Here's my Locarno. Yeah, there we go. Locarno. So he's mostly done. I got to go through and do all the metal, or sorry, not the metal, but the gray highlights on the black, and touch up a couple of his cords and cables here. And I got to do the eyes in his, there we go, eyes on his visor. Other than that, I'm pretty happy with the Carno. Oh, yeah, got to tighten up the scroll work. Oops, can't see it. But the little 3 diamonds there on the bottom. I'm not going to see that that's going to focus. I'm not going to focus, so whatever. Anyways, got to do the 3 little diamonds there. Then I got Shadow Guide. So her, I did all of the white here, going from like a light blue to like a sky white, because it's not all the way white, it's still kind of mostly blue, or a little bit blue. Anyways, so that's where she's at, and then I think I finished the cloak. As you can see, I did the Beltan thorn work throughout, and it came out looking pretty okay. I'm happy with the cloak. So I'm gonna go through and start doing some of the gems, some of the metal, work on her gun. In the picture it's black, but I was thinking a bone color for the blade and the gun. Go a little different than the base colors. Okay, so now the question is, do I take my orcs or my Thousand Suns to the LVO? Rubrics have dropped in points. They are now a fairly good option, and I love painting them. They are a blast. They're one of my favorite legions, between Salamanders and Thousand Suns. Those are the 2 coolest Space Marine chapters in my opinion. The quintessential good guy, and kind of the bad guys by default. You know, we kind of feel bad for Magnus. I mean, not really. I mean, we do, but we don't. He could have maybe just, instead of trying to send a message to the Emperor and breaking his creed, gathered up his legion to go attack Horus or something. But haste makes waste, I suppose. But I love the Thousand Suns. Cool paint scheme, a lot of fun to paint. These rubric models are just, they're fire, man. They are some of the best models that GW's put out, in my opinion. So I'd love to do the rest of them. And now that rubrics are good, we'll actually paint them. I want to go through and redo their cloaks here. I think the white is a little, like, it's kind of chalky, so I want to strip it and kind of redo it. But I'm thinking of that red, like you see on the Armin box when you see airmen. Looks pretty good. So anyways, my Thousand Suns list would probably be Ahriman and another Exalted Sorcerer or regular Sorcerer on disc. No, I think you have to be Exalted to write a disc. So Ahriman and an Exalted Sorcerer on a disc. A big squad of 10 rubrics with a Soulstorm Gatling cannon, so a 10-man squad there. The Sorcerer with an Infernal Belt Pistol, Staff, that sort of thing. And then 10 dudes. And then 2 6-man squads, both with Warp Flamers in each one, and Rhinos, because I like having Rhinos around. And that would be the 1st Battalion. I'd probably kind of take a couple of Hellbrutes and Contemptor Dreadnought. I bought a Contemptor when it was they were running that sale where you buy one arm, you get a second arm for free, and so I have the Legion Contemptor Horus Heresy Dreadnought, and I kind of posed them all running. And I'd love to paint him up, and Butcher Cannons dropped in price, the Contemptor armor dropped in price, so I think it would be a nice kind of centerpiece for my Thousand Suns army, and could look really cool. So the second detachment would have my 2 Demon Princes. I wouldn't be taking Magnus, even though this is the prettiest model I think GW's ever done, and I had a lot of fun painting this Magnus. But he's kind of my favorite model. I think I did. It's probably one of the best paint jobs I've ever done in my life, to be honest. And it's a big model, and I hate painting big models. I prefer painting little individual soldiers and dudes. I hate painting vehicles. They're just not any fun for me in comparison. And I loved this. Is a joy. It was so pretty, so much fun. Even though I did kind of the studio scheme, I like the big nipple armor. I like everything about this model. I think it's beautiful. I want to do a little bit of touch up, but overall, and he wouldn't even make it into the list. I think it's too hard to keep alive. And if I go to a tournament like that, I want to. I don't want to say I win at all costs, but I would like to have a good army. So it would be 2 Demon Princes, and I mean I have those done. You know, they're ready to go. And, you know, they're Zinchi. They look okay. They're right out of the box. I got to do a couple of things left on them. Like I want to do the you know, his little butt flap, or, well, I guess that's a crotch flap. It's got some couple of little doodads that I need to paint in, but, yeah, they look nice and Zinchi and Demon Princey. So they would be in the next portion, and then I'd run 20 Zangors, and then 2 little 10-man cultists. Now that I have the Blackstone Fortress, I'd probably run the Traitor Guard as cultists for that army. They're just beautiful models, and I would have some variety between the 2 squads of the regular cultists that you buy in a little 5-man box and those 10 Traitor Guards. You know, you could differentiate between the 2 squads. After that, I think I don't know that I would have very many points left. It's kind of have to see what happens after we get the full list of points drops across the army and see where it lines up. But like to have a couple of Hellbrutes, like to have that Contemptor Dreadnought into a list, and after that, if I can fit in the Enlightened, you know, Fate Casters with the bows and a Shaman. That would be ideal. I think that's going to be a pretty tight list, though. A lot of points. The Orc army that I would bring would be Evil Sons through and through. Probably be a version of the battle report list that you saw on my channel earlier. And we'll do some better battle reports with that. So the 2 Deathkiller Wartrikes, the 2 Scrap Jets, the Custom Boosta Blasta in 1 detachment, then the 2 10-man Shooter Boys and Truck squads with a 10-man Grot for the 2nd Battalion. That also had a Big Mech with Custom Force Field on a bike. Actually, I think he was leading the Outrider detachment, and the 2 Deathkiller Wartrikes were leading the battalion, because there was only 3 characters in that army. So, and then a battle wagon with 10 tank bustas in it, and 8 knobs with a truck, and the 8 knobs had I think 6 big choppas and then two men with 2 choppas. Now that you can have the sort of blendery choppa knobs, I think those are pretty fantastic. They did really well when I ran them, and I like painting knobs. They're beautiful models, so it would be a lot of fun to paint up a big squad of knobs. The only thing that I would like to fit in there is a couple of power claw knobs as well, so do a full 10-man knob squad. But who knows? It's hard to find points in that list. Maybe drop a Death Killer Wartrike. Take like a weird boy, throw that in the list somewhere. Then there's a battle wagon, and I would like to also find room to put a kill cannon on the battle wagon. The last little detachment being that flyo wing with the 2 Docker jets and the Wazboom blast jet, and that would be actually run Bad Moons. Rerolling 1s to hit with those units is pretty fantastic. Although in the game that you saw, I was running them as freebooters, but running those Docker jets as Bad Moons like I did in the one of the other games that I played. Maybe, yeah, that was the Video Battle Report one. God, man, they just are so good. They just wipe the floor with whatever they point them at. And rerolling 1s helps a lot, especially when you hit on 4s against most targets. So that's kind of the general strategies there between the lists, with some minor tweaks between now and LVO. I have a little bit of time before I have to send in the final list, so I'd really like some feedback from people. What do you think I should bring? I basically need to know in the next week or so, just for painting's sake, what I need to be working on or focusing on, and yeah, so I have enough time to finish and build a display board. And the display board, I have a ton of the Kill Team terrain that I can get. Yeah, I can get a nice sizable game board with the terrain all kill teamed, and I could either orcify it or zinchify it. So either direction. Maybe build it all and theme it for Vigilus games. So let me know. This has been my hobby update, first one. If it's something that people enjoy watching, I will do more.